have fallen before, we always get up. We don't know how to fail and we don't know how to stop. So that it's a little bit like that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. We had gotten those 3M notepad. We put it all up around our house on the walls and we just like wrote everything down, every idea, what ideas they had for database, what language they wanted to use to code. And that's really when it started and got kicked off. And the more we talked about it, the more energy we got and the more excited we got. Here we are today in 2023, and we're about to launch the beta product. And it's all really coming to life, which is the most exciting, thinking back to 2 years ago on, you know, how funny. I remember I took pictures because I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we'll be like Steve Jobs and in the garage and how Apple was founded. So just really excited to be here today and see it all come together. Anyone that's willing to take us under their wing and give us some guidance, find out what they've learned, give us different advice based on experiences. We're hungry for that, incredibly hungry. And we haven't done this before, so we're going in really ego free and just trying to sit back and take in the information, not go into it saying we know how this all works.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another interview in part of our series of interviews with the Nano Grit founders that are going through the Nano Grit Challenge in May. And today I'm happy to have Brittany from Gametime Hero. Brittany, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm really well. I'm really excited to get to meet not all, but many of the founders from all around the world who are taking part in this challenge. It's an exciting time to uncover new ideas and learn a little bit of the backstory and what drives people to want to become startup founders. So let's talk briefly about Gametime Hero itself. Can you give us a short description of the product idea?
Sure. So Gametime Hero is a all-in-one multi-sport platform for team organizers and players. So ultimately, you could go on there. A team organizer could manage their team pretty seamlessly, have messaging opportunities, post games, get RSVPs, and find subs. Players, on the other hand, whether it be pickup games or eventually there'll be tournaments. We'll be able to go on and see available games within their area zip code and days that they're available, and pick up games and be able to stay active and really build community.
Very cool. And I guess now would be a good time to tell us a little bit about the founding team. It's you and AR. So, how did you guys come together and decide that this was a good idea that you wanted to pursue together?
Sure. Well, we are married. I know you had said that it's your first married couple. So we have been together for, gosh, I don't know, 10 years or so. And we both have a passion for learning and we both are very active and love playing sports. So AR had this idea, gosh, I don't know, 5 to 8 years ago. He's been talking about it for a really long time. And his background is in software development. So that makes all of his coding brain move on what's possible and what could be put together. So it really was during the COVID pandemic in 2020, 2021, when we were at home along with everyone else. And we were thinking like, maybe we should really sit down and put pen to paper. So we had other people come over to our house in Seattle and we were all sitting, I remember it so clearly. We were sitting all like 10 feet apart and we had gotten those 3M notepad. We put it all up around our house on the walls and we just like wrote everything down, every idea, what ideas they had for database, what language they wanted to use to code. And that's really when it started and got kicked off. And the more we talked about it, the more energy we got and the more excited we got. And now here we are today in 2023, and we're about to launch the beta product. And it's all really coming to life, which is the most exciting, thinking back to 2 years ago on, how funny. I remember I took pictures because I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we'll be like Steve Jobs and in the garage and how Apple was founded. So just really excited to be here today and see it all come together.
That's very cool. I guess, so why do you think that now is the right time to build it? I guess you've been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe why didn't it happen sooner? Or is there, are there competitors in the space that you just don't see meeting the needs of sports teams in the way that you guys want to?
Well, so because we've been thinking about it for a while and because we play sports ourselves, there's a lot of frustrations that we experience. So there's a lot of groups that use Facebook as a main tool. So anyone that isn't a part of Facebook misses out. There's a lot of group texts or WhatsApp. And from what I hear from various people is, especially for adult groups, it's too expensive to use some of the apps that are out there, and those other platforms are really aimed towards children and youth leagues. So they're used to league organizers willing to pay pretty large dollars for it. So this is also solving our pain points that we experience on a really everyday basis or weekly basis or things that we have experienced ourselves. And I think we've had the time to process and think about everything that we want in it. And because it's been so long in our brains, I feel like we've got a product and platform that we're both incredibly proud of.
Very cool. And how do you think that the Nano Grit challenge will help move the idea of Game Time Hero forward?
Well, so both of us are lifelong learners. I think we'll probably be in some sort of class or school for the rest of our lives. And so at this point, we're just trying to be sponges of any information we can get and any experts and anyone that's willing to take us under their wing and give us some guidance, find out what they've learned, give us different advice based on experiences. We're hungry for that, incredibly hungry. And we haven't done this before, so we're going in really ego free and just trying to sit back and take in the information, not go into it saying we know how this all works and we're experts in this at all. So yeah, I think Igor, I know, has been working with AR and he's been really excited, and just the opportunity to think about building in public also has been a really great mentality. I was thinking about it the other day, and really from the mentality of, if you are going to be the person that's most excited about your product or your service, and if you're not willing to put it out there and share it and be proud and be excited, then why would anybody else? So I think that mentality of it is awesome, and I think we've already gotten a lot of traction from everything that we've done, and we're about halfway through. And so it's all, we're already seeing the benefits, and everyone we talk to and every meeting we've had, I think we've learned something. And if you surround yourself, I believe that if you surround yourself with the right people, smart people, grinders, you can learn something from everyone. If you're really listening to everything, that you'll become better and your company will become better.
Very cool. And I'm glad to hear that is all happening within Nano Grit. We're
Yeah.
very excited to have this community growing together with the founders around the world. So I guess while we're on the topic of the actual Nano Grit challenge, what specific goals have you set for Game Time Hero to reach by the end of May?
So we want at least 200 folks on our wait list. I looked last evening and we're about 148. So I think we're about 52 off. And also we have a goal of 200 social media followers, which we're close to hitting also.
Very good. Very good. Great progress for you guys. All right. More general question. You mentioned AR's got a background in software development, and have either of you always wanted to be a startup founder, had sort of that entrepreneurial itch, or is this just something that, you had the idea for so long that it was finally time to do it?
Well, I think it's interesting because my background is in operations. So I've done various leadership roles, done financials, done budgets. So between AR and myself, our skill sets are pretty opposite of one another, which I think makes for a good balance of talking through things and being able to really capture everything that's needed, obviously, with a lot of expertise and support. And I think the one thing that we have in common, even when we were dating or trying to figure out who our person was, we have like the grit, determination, and we are incredibly hard grinders. I don't know how else to say that. That we have fallen before, we always get up. We don't know how to fail and we don't know how to stop. So that it's a little bit like that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. That's what we have absolutely in common step by step. And so every one of the personality tests or what you should be for both of us always has entrepreneur in it. So even with the different backgrounds and different personalities, I think that's the piece that we have in common. I don't know if 5 years ago I would say, we're going to be entrepreneurs by this date, but we have all of the heart and passion and work ethic that for us to be here, I don't think is surprising to either one of us. And the dedication and time spent, I mean, I feel like that's what we're like built for, even if that sounds really cheesy, but naturally.
Well, it sounds like a perfect fit of skills and dedication, determination. So that's what every startup needs in their founding team. All right. As founders, though, are you excited about building in public? Did you ever experiment with this before, or have some reservations about going down this more open path as you build Gametime Hero?
I wouldn't say reservations. I don't think we have thought about it in the past of doing so many posts or really publishing everything we're doing. And I think since we've been getting in the hang of it, it's also a really great progression tool to see how far you've come and kind of watching your stats. We have weekly touch bases with our team and we go through our plan and what our goals are, but actually having it for the world to see, it increases the level of accountability because not only does the team see where you're at, but the rest of the world or whoever's following could see it as well. So yeah, I don't think reservations. I think it's been a really good experience. We've been joking, like in our personal lives, like AR sent me a video of him walking the dog and texted it to me and was like, building public. I'm taking the dog for a walk and got him groomed. And so we've been kind of just making small jokes about it. But I think it's been a great experience. And like I said, we've increased our traction, and we will meet our goals by the end. We know that, and so that's why we're all here.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And that makes a lot of sense as well. I guess the follow up question to that would be, has it sort of refined the idea or helped you refine the idea of Gametime Hero in any way via feedback from people or any other ways, I
Well,
guess?
we have completely really interesting to get people's feedback and find out how different it should be, how it should look, where our focus should be. And that has been fantastic. Like how it looks today, it looks so much better than what it did when we started. And I think getting people, just having a community to build off of and other founders to get ideas, and people who, again, are in the same boat. They don't have egos. People are just hungry for information. What are you using for these tools? What do you use for this? And that has only helped us grow, and only helped us learn. We've been researching all sorts of things that other founders and other people have recommended, and then we're making the decision, is that a good fit for us, or do we want to go a different direction? But just the exposure of um, kind of finding out what we don't know is really only beneficial.
That's fantastic to hear. And I'm curious now, as you fill up your wait list, who are the ideal early adopters that you want to see on that list? Who do you want to be testing and using Gametime Hero when you launch the first version so that you can, I guess, make it as good as it can be?
Sure. We really want active adults, any sports, and depending on who on that wait list, where we see the biggest numbers in terms of cities or zip codes, that's where our plan will be to start. So again, we've got a lot right now in Minneapolis. We have a lot in Seattle. It's also where we have our own bases. But yeah, any active sports lovers, or especially, that we've talked to a lot of people, adults that are moving to new cities that are just trying to build community, or people, the number of active adults since the pandemic has also increased exponentially. And so people are trying to get outside. And if anything, during the pandemic, people have realized the advantage of in-person events and that connection. And I think people are trying to get that back and trying to figure out who their tribe is. And sports is a great way to, like I said, stay active, build community, build friendships, and build relationships. So
Very
yeah,
cool. Awesome. I have two follow-up questions based on that answer. The
yeah.
first is about Minneapolis, because I don't think I've talked to anybody who's based in Minneapolis for the show yet. Is there any sort of startup community or founder community that you're a part of there that you've found to be helpful, or is everything mostly online ever since the pandemic started?
Minneapolis actually has an awesome startup community, and people have really welcomed us in, specifically with the beta community in Minneapolis. Um, Again, people just very friendly. If anything, I have been, not that I was going with any initial thoughts, but the friendliness of everyone has been amazing. It may be, I think that's what I've talked about most to all of my friends and groups, of like, what an amazing supportive community, of people that just want to help others off the ground, and everybody knowing how hard of a journey it is, and that sometimes it can be a lonely journey with no one else kind of really understanding what you're going through. And so that group of people, it's just been, people excited to meet one another, people excited to share ideas, people excited about being excited about others' ideas. So yeah, Minneapolis has been great for us to be in.
That's great to hear. And the second follow-up question I had is basically about your target audience once again, because sports is a really broad umbrella. So, are these team sports? Are you going to niche down into any? Like, could I find a running club there? Like,
You
is
can
it
find a running club,
okay?
pickleball, soccer, basketball, softball. The only one we haven't really done or focused, and a lot of people have asked us about, so we're thinking about how to do it, is esports. That's becoming really popular. But yeah, we've got most listed, and like I said, so if we start in Minneapolis and that's where we launch with users, it would be, if you were, let's say you're traveling to Minneapolis, right? You're not there. You could look up based on your location, and let's say you're coming for work and say, I want to get outside. Minnesota's finally nice weather, and go play a game of pickleball. It's one of the fastest growing sports. And you click on it, and you could see how many people are playing, which parks that they were playing at, and how many players they need. And you could RSVP to one of their games. That team then after could say, or that group of people could say, and rate you similar to how you would rate an Uber driver. Like, were you on time? Were you friendly to play with? Was your skill level what you said it was, like beginner, intermediate, or advanced? And really trying to, again, build that relationship and community. And then that group of people, if you played with three others, you could have access to messaging them to play again. Let's say the next day, would love to play with you again. Are you free any other day this week?
Very cool. Yeah, that sounds like a great platform. And I sort of I feel this. I have felt the same pain as you guys have in terms of finding people to run or ride with. I don't do very many team sports anymore, but even yeah, it's Facebook groups and different messenger groups. You know, I'm pretty active in the running club here, and we even have people that just are going to come to visit, and they write to the club's Instagram account, and then
Right,
and then whoever's managing the Instagram account for the club says, "Hey, so and so from Minneapolis is coming to visit us and wants to run with some people next Thursday. Does anybody want to run?" So it's all very manual and ad hoc
right.
and annoying in that way.
Yeah,
So it sounds like a
it's
great
pretty
idea.
clunky currently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I'm almost out of my questions. Is there anything else that you'd like people to know in terms of the backstory or the inspiration behind Gametime Hero that we haven't covered?
Just that we are incredibly excited to launch. So if you haven't signed up, go to gametimehero.com, follow us on social media pages. And hopefully we're coming to a city near you soon. And beta version is going to launch in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I've been playing around in it. I've been trying to break it as much as possible. And we're just, like I said, really excited and proud, and our goal is to be the best sports platform in the United States. And I I think we have a ton of potential, and I think people are really excited about being able to see it live. We've been talking about it for a while, so just really excited to be where we're at.
For sure. And this might come out as a video interview after you've already launched. So I
Oh,
guess
sure.
my only follow up there would be what kind of roles will people be able to host games as soon as they sign up if the city's not doesn't have enough users, or how will that work?
So, like I said, our plan is to roll it out in certain cities first, and focus on getting a large number of users in that area. Team organizers will be able to use it at any time to even organize just their team, even if they're not looking for subs or pickup players. Um, but yeah, and then once you're on, you can either put your availability down on, let's say you're available Monday and Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings that you're wanting to play, and people can ask you to play, or you can be brave and reach out. Or if, let's say, John, you are interested in running tomorrow and wanted a few people to run with, you could host that event and people could RSVP to your event.
Very cool. Well, good luck with the launch. I look forward to following the progress with you and AR through the end of the Nano Grit Challenge and beyond. I'm sure it's going to be amazing to watch, and hopefully someday I'll be on the platform as well when you
Yeah,
expand
join
to.
our wait list, John. Get ready for that running club.
Definitely, definitely. It sounds exciting. All right. Thank you so much, Brittany, for your time. And I'll drop all the links to the website and everything else in the show notes of this episode. So thanks a million.
Thank you.